The regular city council meeting for the city of Utica, Tuesday, December 13th, 2022. Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Lou Myers, would you lead us, please, sir?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you do roll, please?
Sikora?
Here.
Terenzi? Here. O'Donnell? Deanne?
Here.
Ryan?
Here.
Mayor Calendino?
Here. We do have one absent tonight and one vacancy. I did hear from Councilman O'Donnell, and he wanted me to tell everyone that he's disappointed that the last meeting of his first term, he came down with an illness, and he won't be able to make it tonight. He doesn't want to infect everybody, but he's disappointed that he wasn't here. At this time, we open up the floor for public comments. This would be for any item listed on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address council would have 3 minutes to do so. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address council? Thank you, everybody. At this time, I would be looking for a motion to approve all the items that are in consent business.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Deanne, support by Terenzi. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Terenzi? Yes. O'Donnell? Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries, thank you. No new business, but we do have something very important to do tonight. Chief Wilczek, would you like to take the mic, sir?
Yes, Mayor and Council, we have 6 newer employees to be sworn in tonight. One's been with us about 1.5 years, I believe now, but with COVID and everything, we kind of slipped through the cracks with him, so we'll do him first. Travis Sparling comes to us as a paramedic, and he was signed up for fire school, but they canceled the class, unfortunately, so he's going to advance on, hopefully, and find another class to go to. It's Travis's, yep.
I always get yelled at to turn the mic. Excuse me, I need to grab the Bible. If you could raise your right hand and put your left hand on the Bible. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and the Charter
and the Charter
for the City of Utica,
for the City of Utica,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
and policies and procedures
and policies and procedures
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of paramedic
the duties of paramedic
for the City of Utica Fire Department
for the City of Utica Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. I think council would like to shake hands.
You didn't tell me.
It's all right.
That was not.
Kevin said that different. Our second one tonight is Kevin St. Peter. He comes to us as a paramedic firefighter, retired from Sterling Heights, and been holding down the fort for us along with his wife. So,
If you could raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and the Charter for the City of Utica,
and the Charter for the City of Utica,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations,
and policies and procedures
policies and procedures
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
of the City of Utica's Fire Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of paramedic firefighter
the duties of paramedic firefighter
for the City of Utica Fire Department
for the City of Utica Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Our third person to be sworn in tonight is Jacqueline St. Peter. She comes as a EMT firefighter, and she's currently going to paramedic school.
If you could raise your right hand and put your left hand on the Bible. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and the Charter for the City
and the Charter for the City
of Utica,
of Utica,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
and policies and procedures
and policies and procedures
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of firefighter EMT
the duties of firefighter EMT
for the City of Utica Fire Department
for the City of Utica Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Sorry. Congratulations.
Our next individual is Kaylee Radke. She comes to us as a paramedic.
If you could raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United
of
States,
the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and the Charter for the City of Utica,
and the Charter for the City of Utica,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations,
and policies and procedures
and policies and procedures
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of paramedic
the duties of paramedic
for the City of Utica Fire Department
for the City of Utica Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Two out of 11. Perfect.
Our next individual is Laura Nowacki. She's an EMT, been serving on the ambulance. They're a family of individuals that serve our city.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and the Charter for the City of Utica,
and the Charter for the City of Utica,
and the rules and
and
regulations
the rules and regulations,
and policies and
and
procedures
policies and procedures
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of EMT
the duties of EMT
for the City of Utica Fire
for
Department
the City of Utica Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Alexis. And last but not least is Alexis Elder. She's currently an EMT and attending paramedic training. Hopefully become a paramedic for us.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of this state,
the Constitution of this state,
and the Charter
and the Charter
for the City of Utica,
for the City of Utica,
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations,
and policies and procedures
and policies and procedures
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
of the City of Utica Fire Department,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of EMT
the duties of EMT
for the City of Utica Fire Department
for the City of Utica Fire Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Madam Clerk's asking if we could get a real quick group photo, maybe up in the front here, if that's okay. Chief Osek, would you like to join?
Do I have to? Wow, Gus, you hear that?
Thank you.
Thanks. Congratulations, guys.
You guys are welcome to stay and enjoy the excitement tonight, but we understand if you want to leave.
Not while you have the chance.
Have a great night. Congratulations.
Thanks for coming. It's a meeting for three now. All three of you calm down.
We get to leave too?
All right.
Should we close it? All right. Next on the agenda is the property combination request for Arbo Management 8315 Hall Road and 45044 Platt Street. This item did have a public hearing just a few, an hour ago or so, in our planning commission. Amanda, could you give us an update?
Yes, so the applicant is the owner of Buscemi's, and he owns the two parcels that are Buscemi's in the adjacent parking lot, and then the parcel to the north, which is currently 45044 Platt, which is a multifamily apartment building, and he is requesting to combine all three parcels into a C2 zoning, and essentially tear down the apartment building and make that a parking lot to provide more parking for his current use and mitigate traffic better, move the dumpster to the rear, and so forth. So Planning Commission did approve, or did recommend the combination of the parcels, and just for reference, we did confirm that the taxable value of him tearing down the parcel would be about $400 difference. Isn't that right, Mr. Calandrino? And also the existing apartment complex is a non-conforming use because the site is zoned R1B, and that would be considered R3, and the structure is non-conforming because it doesn't meet any of the setback requirements in R1B. So by removing the property, or the building, you are actually removing a non-conforming use and structure within the community, which is always a benefit as well. So it meets all of the minimum lot size requirements of a combination, and the zoning fits the overall land use map of the city as it currently stands. So right now, it would just be approving the lot combination. The applicant would need to meet with Jerry, myself, and engineering to do a site plan. I guess it would be a site plan amendment or addition for the parking lot, and we'd let him know. We'd go over ingresses and egresses for trucking, loading and unloading space, parking lot landscaping requirements, screening requirements, and all of that. So that'll be the next steps, but the first step is just to come and approve or deny the lot combination. So happy to answer any questions, and I believe the applicant is here as well.
Is there anything you would like to add, Mr. Abro? If you could step up to the podium, please, sir.
Like I said earlier, hello, it's needed to keep my business functioning properly because we are busy certain times of the day, and just, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So just for clarification tonight, like Amanda did mention, all we're really voting on tonight is on the approval of combining the three parcels and the resulting parcel being zone C2.
Question for Amanda. Once it becomes C2,
who knows whatever happens to the parcel. Something happens, you're not the owner anymore, somebody comes in, buys it, knocks it down. Now, we can put a two-story structure up there and comply to all the new C2 zonings.
Yep.
Correct.
Yes, that is
So
correct.
we're also, there were concerns from a neighbor. Again, you're pushing this parking lot further into the neighborhood. They didn't buy their house with a parking lot across it. If you don't screen with massive screening, anybody using headlights or that are gonna shine into that person's front window or their house. So I understand your need, I'm a business owner, okay? But at the same time, you're kind of infringing upon other people's living space that were there prior to you wanting to do this. Even though you own those apartments, if they bought next to it or across the street from it, they were apartments. So I have grave concern about that, and I have grave concern over what can be done after the fact. God forbid, you burn, you don't decide to build, you sell the property. All of a sudden, there's this big building like what's down the street, looking into all these neighborhoods.
I'm still gonna be in line with my neighbors on the east of me, Sullivan's, Sun, they're all deeper, and we're just gonna be matching up in the same depth.
The rear yard setback requirement is 30 feet for a building in C2, just for reference, for everyone's knowledge, so.
So can there be massive planting something where somebody's headlights don't go into somebody, can that all be dictated? Or is it gonna be just an open street like every other commercial building, what he has there now?
The current screening requirements are 4.5 feet brick wall, so if you did the rezoning, you could, I don't know if you legally can require him to do a certain type of screening, but you can strongly encourage him. I believe most people, as we look at the screening that comes in for new businesses, we're doing at least a 6-foot privacy fence is what we're recommending at Planning Commission. You could ask for that in addition to like arborvitae's being planted along the rear as part of the landscaping requirements too. Just to increase that screening, like you're saying, so that they're not getting the glare into the residential lots. There also is lighting requirements, so the lumens have to be a certain amount, and we're always promoting the down-facing lighting so that you're not getting the glare and, that spillage into the residential property, so. But those are requirements that we can request.
Can we mandate them? I mean,
I defer
I'm
to
really
Linda.
fearful of the neighborhood, that's all I am. So that's why I asked
Yes.
before, we can suggest, if it's not done, or they can say, well, legally, you can't make me do this, okay? So, again, it was the idea to get the parking off of Platt Street. We have a monster situation still with Tim Hortons, with people pulling in, pulling out, up and down the streets. We put signs. It's an issue. Is this going to really alleviate that? Are the big trucks really gonna wanna pull in a parking lot, or are they just gonna park on the streets as they do now? Because it's easy. If you've got a truck and a trailer, you're not going in a parking lot. So, I have grave concern, and again, please understand, I've been a businessman for 40 years, okay? Own 2 buildings, I understand that. So, I don't know.
If we're at a point now, I would like to get this up for a motion
Okay.
and support, and then definitely continue any deliberation, once we have the motion made.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation for the Planning Commission as presented.
Motion by Dion,
Support.
support by Ryan, and now let's return to discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I have an item for discussion.
Yes, sir.
So, Amanda, if I'm not mistaken, looking at the master plan, the 2017 master plan, looking between Summers and Hall Road, wasn't it proposed by the county that we were going to look at developing that parcel along Hall Road between, say, Van Dyke and, let's go to Starrett, for potential commercial usage passage between Summers and Hall Road?
That's what the city, yes, that's
Okay.
what the city.
Yeah, so we've already kind of dove into that piece of concept of commercializing that strip between Summers and Hall Road. This doesn't fit out, this isn't outside that, that boundary, and so, just for food for thought, because we did look at this as a master plan, it is in the master plan right now that we would commercialize those parcels between those 2 boundaries. But having said that, again, Mr. Abro brings up a strong point that he is kind of on par with those deeper lots that are commercial resident, or commercial properties. And he's been there, the property's been there since the 60s, I get that, and the other people that are adjacent to those parcels may suffer some hardship with the headlights being in. But I think Mr. Abro, knowing what I do know of him, he's a good neighbor, and I would suspect, I can't force him to say it, we can't force him to do it, but I think, knowing him, he would probably do everything in his power to remediate any problems with his neighbors, because he wants good neighbors, and oftentimes they say good fences make good neighbors. So, just my 2 cents.
Thank you, Councilman Dion.
I have a concern. My concern is the residents that are in your apartments right now. How many do you have?
I have 4,
You have 4?
yes.
And have you helped them make arrangements, or do they?
I had to go come through this part first today, so they know, you know, they've seen people walking through, and I told them, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because it depended on your approvals, so. So I will give them, you know, if this gets approved, I will give them at least whatever is required, you know, and extra time.
Thank you.
And I think to Amanda's point, that structure now is non-conforming, is that not correct?
That's correct, yes.
And there's 4 units there, I believe, right?
Units, and it needs about $70,000-$80,000 in repairs right now. It's, you know, the parking lot, there's stuff in the back.
And I know at planning, Ms. Ricketts mentioned that you would totally be within your right to tear the building down now,
Yeah,
without combining the lots and,
I'll just have my employees park there. I mean, that's what I would
Right.
do, honestly.
right.
But I want to do it the right way.
I mean, I share Mayor Pro Tem's concerns about the adjacent neighbors. I know you, I know what you do in this community and how much you care. I've gotten myself in trouble before saying this, but I'm very
I'm gonna
confident
do the right thing.
you
I just-
always have done the right
I mean, I
thing.
don't want to spend $100,000 on a fence, so.
Right.
This is, to be honest, I mean, I'll do the right thing.
And some of the things that were mentioned in planning, the egress, coming off the side, if we can move that up as close to Van Dyke as possible, so
Yeah.
you don't bring that traffic closer into the residential area. I
Okay.
think that,
Maybe
and I'm
introduce
sure
a curb.
Amanda's gonna work with you on that.
Maybe introduce a curb along Platt.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I will say, and this is no fault of yours, in fact, it's a testament to how great of a business you have. Your parking lot coming off Hall Road is treacherous. Trying to leave that lot, when you're crowded at lunchtime,
It's a trap.
and again, it's no fault of yours, it's because you run a very successful, popular business. But when you try to turn your car around and get back onto, Hall Road, it's
tough. A lot of
That's
people
very
leave.
good.
I'm telling you,
Right.
it's just, I know it's a few hours a day, but it's important, a few hours a day.
Mayor, if I could make a comment?
Absolutely, sir.
If anybody's familiar with that area, as you indicated, he runs a very successful business, and the side streets become busy because of the situation with the parking lot on the east side of that structure. This type of planning, from what I can see on a day-to-day basis, would alleviate some of the, you do have some people that come in that have construction workers, things like that, would take some of that traffic off of Platt Street and hopefully put it into the parking lot. I would hope that would give some relief to some of the surrounding businesses across the street, as well as some of the residents, and hopefully clear up that street a little bit and give them another avenue to get in and out of that business. I wasn't in on the planning meeting, but I would think that the surrounding residents would probably like to see that, because it makes it a little bit easier for them to come through. As far as deliveries and things like that, it clears up that street.
I know I get a lot of complaints from folks on Summers, Grant Park Boulevard, that complain about the trucks using, their streets as a bypass, and I'm guessing,
Big trucks go around,
right, I think you probably will alleviate a lot of that.
I hope.
Right. City attorney suggests that I read this into the record. This was an email that Councilman O'Donnell, who's ill and absent tonight, sent. Where his thoughts on this item begin. However, I have thoughts on item 7, the request to combine parcels, agenda item named property combination request. Doing the math would have anyone conclude this is a bad deal for Utica. Tearing down parcel 017, which is 45044 Platt Street, results in a yearly loss of revenue to the city of $4,610.70. Because parking lots do not add value to parcels, we can expect no parcel recovery of this revenue. A parking lot will likely decrease the value of adjacent properties. Considering this and the property has been poorly maintained, we should not be doing the property owner the favor of granting this request. On the contrary, we should increase blight enforcement against the existing property. And that was his comments. The one item before this meeting, I did have Mr. Grusa, our city assessor, run the numbers, and I don't know if I have them available here. Yes, I do. The current tax revenue from those apartments, the revenue that the city sees, this is not the complete property tax, just the city's portion, is $1,255. If in the future you decided to demo those buildings and create a parking lot, which again is not what we're voting on tonight, but if you did in the future decide to do that, the difference, or the new property tax revenue, City of Utica portion is $840. So as you can see, it's a difference of not $4,610, but about $400, just to make that clear. Are there any other comments from council?
My biggest concern is screening for the neighbors, okay? Plain and simple. If Sullivan's been there forever, the people that bought next to it knew it was there, okay? People that are on the other side of this didn't expect this to happen or didn't know. I understand that, so. You don't want to put more into a fence than you have to, but there has to be some type of a promise that the other people don't have to deal with that. So.
Trees and fencing.
I do have a comment also, Mr. Mayor.
I'm done.
So, living next to an investment property such as a rental also puts a burden of external obsolescence, we'll call it, or external depreciation on the homeowner that lives and is homesteaded in the parcel adjacent to that rental property. Rental properties oftentimes are considered, well, in this one in particular, from what I understand, is somewhat blighted. You said yourself it's a $60,000, $70,000 increase of out of pocket to bring it up to standard. So unfortunately, whoever lives adjacent to that property is suffering because they're living next to the house that's the least desirable on the street, right? And I don't see you putting $70,000 into that parcel. Going back to Mr. O'Donnell's point, I know Mr. O'Donnell has been creative with math before by previous conversations that we had. But quite honestly, the point is that if you were to assemble all those parcels together and make it into one large parcel, regardless of what you put on the parcel, whether it be a large building or parking, the future use of that parcel, if the building burnt down and you said, I'm done, I wash my hands, now you have a big, beautiful parcel to build a big, beautiful something upon, which could be huge tax revenue. Okay, and not to say that we want to have a four-story building like the 11,101 building, but the possibilities are completely endless at that point. Right now, you're finite into how much taxable value you can have. Expanding your growth of your business now would absolutely give you more possibility to grow. Where instead of having a dilapidated building immediately to your north, now you have a parking lot, which is a lot easier to maintain and less of an external obsolescence or less of an eyesore as well. So I'd rather have a vacant parking lot that's well-maintained by a trusted business owner immediately next door to me, rather than tenants. Now, let's say the tenants aren't great people, but I've owned investment properties, and they can sometimes not be the nicest, or you never know what you're gonna get, because they're not invested in the city, they're not, it's not their house per se. They can leave tomorrow, but you're still sitting there holding the bag, right? And your neighbors are too, because they're invested in the property. So I would say that as a neighbor, I would rather see a vacant lot next to me than a dilapidated building with who knows who living next door. Just my two.
Thank you, Councilman.
My 2 cents.
Any further comments from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Sikora?
Killing me on this one. I'm just gonna take you on your word.
I promise you. I've been there for 20.
I understand.
My customers.
There's other businesses in this town that have made a lot of promises that
Yeah,
haven't
but
come through.
I've never been in one of these in 20 years. I've never come in this. I mean, no.
I will be at every planning commission meeting, so based on that, I said I wasn't gonna vote yes, I'm gonna vote yes.
It's not easy for me, but I'm tearing down the building, so,
Yes.
thank you.
Terenzi?
This is hard for me as well. I was really thinking no, because I'm really concerned for this resident who's going to get the brunt of it. But if you do what you say and put fences up so that she's not getting the lights going in her, in her living room window all the time, and you truly do what you say as a good neighbor that you have been, I will say yes.
O'Donnell, Deanne,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Mayor Calendino.
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations. Take good care
We're
of
tough.
our residents.
We've never had issues.
Next item on the agenda, the Let's Move Festival of Races. Do we have the petitioner here tonight?
Yes.
My name is Bob Busquart. I represent Hanson's Running Shop, 8409 Hall Road, Utica, on behalf of the Macomb Health and Fitness Foundation. We are petitioning to move the event, which was held pre-COVID in downtown Mount Clemens, to here in downtown Utica. We've already been in conversation with Jimmy John's because without their venue, then this is a moot point. But planning an event of this stature that would normally attract anywhere from 750 to 1,000 participants, a lot of things have to fall in line to get the venue, the course, the parking. So knowing what I know about downtown Utica, when we were looking at moving the event, I thought Utica would be a nice fit, just because of the downtown area, the trails we have. I've already spoken to Shelby Township and our usage of river bends. They have secured that date for us. So before we did any more promoting, any more advertising, we wanted to make sure that this was a done deal. So that's why we're here tonight.
Any questions? If not, we would be looking for a motion to approve the Macomb Health and Fitness Foundation event to be held on May 6th. The foundation will also work in coordination with Utica Fire, Police, DPW, to be sure all public safety requirements are met.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by Sikora, support by Terenzi. Any discussion from council? Councilman Wright.
Just one quick comment, just to make sure that you do coordinate with the fire department as far as EMS coverage, because that's a lot of people and.
Correct. In the past, what we've done for the city of Mount Clemens and Harrison Township and Clinton Township is we would notify any resident that would be involved with a road closure. We would give them specific timing of when the event would be taking place, when they would experience possible hardship or rerouting. And we would do the same for every resident of Utica that would be affected by this event.
Either chiefs, do you have any concerns?
Just a real quick question, based on what you indicated so far. You're talking about starting at Jimmy John's, probably utilizing the trails going up into Shelby, and coming back, reassembling at Jimmy John's Field type of
Correct.
thing? Okay.
The 5K will head south underneath Hall Road and do a loop around the neighborhood just south of Hall Road, and it will be on Utica Road for 2 blocks until we can get back on Greeley Street. So that would probably be one of the worst, or not the worst, but that would be a hard closure of northwestbound Utica, rerouting them on a 19.5 mile until everyone was back off of Utica. That would be about a 15-minute hard closure.
What we've done in the past, just for information, we would close only one lane.
Mhm.
We give you like a southern or a northbound lane type
Yep.
of thing. So that's what we've done in the past. I don't know
Yep.
how that configures with some of the.
That's what we had in mind.
Okay. Yep.
The other hard closure would be Cass between Chapatoon and Auburn Road. As the runners head northbound, we would have to reroute them to turn east on Chapatoon to Van Dyke until the 5K is clear of that, which would again be about a 30-minute closure where people coming towards Utica from Shelby or Cass would be rerouted to Van Dyke until everyone's clear of the course.
Chief Olsek, anything further? Any further discussion from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Terenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell, Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino.
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Mayor,
We'll be in
is it
contact with,
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm training right now.
Mayor's running it, good.
absolutely.
We can all walk it.
Maybe.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have the information that I can give to the chief as well.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is a petition by Mr. Louis Myers. If you could step up to the podium, sir, and give us your name and address.
My name's Louis Myers. I'm over at 45483 Kedding Street, and I'll be brief. I was trying to save a tree almost a year and a half ago. It was a large, large tree. I introduced Mayor Gus to research if there was any statute, state, local, federal, to save this huge tree that was by my property. We found out it was over 168 years old. It was a tremendous tree, healthy, and we need every tree we have if you think about our planet and all this. I was just trying to save it. And the neighbor was trying to orchestrate, trying to cut it down because leaves were falling into an above-ground pool. It was a hassle for him. And so he was going to church to try to collect some money if he could. He wanted in excess of over 20 grand. But he decided to move. New neighbors moved in, and he got clever how to get this tree cut down. And it took 2.5 months. And I had the good fortune on November 6th of this year, Mayor Gus happened to be Sunday working in this area, in this office. And I was having a dispatcher 370 informing the neighbor throughout the 2 months that they were legal to cut this tree through 11 o'clock on a Sunday. I want to use this as just a sample of what was going on, so everyone has a good pulse of what happened. Just to summarize, it's a recording on that Sunday. This is Sunday, around 2:30, November 6th. That's what I've been hearing every Sunday, every weekend, Saturdays, Sundays. It's going on, and I called the City of Utica Police Department. They told me the ordinance allows them to cut up until 11 p.m. I called Gus, the mayor of the City of Utica, also telling him what's going on, and this is just outright ridiculous. And I will go to City Council with this recording, and I think also the sawdust is falling into the yard and all that. It's pathetic. It's been going on for 2 months. They've been piecemealing this, cost save, if you want to call it, getting crews that are not working during the weekends, or maybe they have time off. They're definitely utilizing the weekends and Sundays. And this is gotta have a better ordinance. This is a great city, and I know that we don't have this type of permitted cutting until 11 p.m. on a Sunday evening. Come on. So I'll cut this off. All I know is Gus happened to be here this Sunday on November 6th. He corrected dispatch at 370. It was wrong for her to communicate this. Actually, it was till 9 o'clock on a Sunday, not till 11 o'clock. And they utilized that time frame because she was communicating this, that they were able to do that. We have people that work. I think that a Sunday, we should have a relaxed point. And if it's an emergency, a tornado, hurricane, whatever has happened, yeah, we're going to go out there, emergency crews, and do what we have to do to clear roads, et cetera, or wires. But on a Sunday afternoon, you got guests coming over, family members, you should have some ordinance to protect and have some reasonable peace. That's all I'm after. And lastly, the crew that comes over there, cut that type of size tree, they should be licensed. They should be bona fide to say that we represent a company. These people were off from another company, just moonlighting, basically. The young kids taking advantage, but they took 2.5 months to cut this tree down. And I think that was wrong. And I suffered for it. And there's another thing that basically they were allowed to do it. And the city said, yeah, you can do it till 11. And that was wrong. And Mayor Gus happened to be here, and he went over there and he corrected her. And I think we should have a permit, get a permit in, that type of size tree for safety of the surrounding neighbors, absolutely, because things were happening. Injuries could potentially happen. You want people that know what they're doing. And I know that the police were called a week before. They were burning the twigs, leaves, and all the smoke, and it came to my house, came to the neighbors. And I don't know if the two cop cars that showed up, if they issued a ticket, but I know that they witnessed them basically putting water onto the fire that was there. It was just continuous a mess for 2 months. So that's what I'm after, is some type of protection for the neighbors that have this type of situation. Because right now, there's nothing. There's no teeth, there's nothing.
I would like to defend our dispatch. Our noise ordinance is a relatively new ordinance in the city. I mean, up until, I don't even remember, was it last year? It's not very old. Up until last year, we had really no regulation on loud noises, loud noises in the city, including garbage removal, construction noises. So, there probably is still a little confusion about this very new ordinance. And when I notified dispatch and gave them a copy of the noise ordinance, they were very receptive and with me.
I know, but with me, she never apologized, because I did another call, recalling, because I wanted her to record it. When I was made those calls, I wanted them to record the sound that was happening. And I told her, you think, just a common sense, you think that's reasonable till 11? And she said, I got corrected by the mayor. Mayor came over here and corrected me this at 9 o'clock. But she never said I apologize or anything. She just said, okay, I got the message now.
Right. So we did look at some other cities on your recommendation.
Yeah.
I believe it was Grosse Pointe Farms has I think it was very restricted hours, like in the morning, wasn't it? Where loud noises in the neighborhoods are allowed on Sundays. But a large portion of Sundays, there was no loud noise, construction type noises allowed in the city. I'm not prepared to know, if that would work in the city of Utica, and it would probably have to go through planning, and would that have to go through a public hearing to amend the ordinance like that, right?
I believe so.
I think that would put a burden on a lot of our working residents who, work 5 days a week to be able to pack all their work just on Saturday. But it's something that we can research. I only looked at a couple municipalities, and I only saw the one that specifically called out Sunday, as kind of a day of rest. Does anybody from council have any ideas
I have
about
an idea,
this?
Mr. Mayor. So I do think that, given some of the points that you brought up about the dangerous activities that taking down these big trees could be, and maybe there's a permit process that can happen for such a large tree.
I don't think there is.
I mean, I don't know I'm not sure what's legally possible, but it wouldn't seem unreasonable to require a permit to take down such a big tree, because it's, are you insured to do it? Because like if the tree falls on your property, now you just got some guy next door that's, a guy with a chainsaw, he's now falls on your property, destroys your fence, destroys your house. It would seem like a permit would give some credence to that.
Common sense.
The other
Jerry,
part too.
is there anything in the ordinances for that?
No?
Jerry's our code enforcement.
The other point would be, on a Sunday, like, for example, you talk construction, like, I do home projects on the weekends. If I'm working during the week, I might only have Saturday, Sunday to, like, do some home projects, whether I'm doing my roof, or if I'm, building something in the backyard. Somebody has saws in the backyard and some drilling and hammering. So construction generally would be, for me, most of us have Monday through Friday jobs, and so if I'm doing a project around the house on the weekend, I'm not gonna be like, okay, I got Saturday to do it, right? And then it rains on Saturday, it's only sunny on Sunday. So I think putting out a blanket ordinance where it's like Sunday is not good, but I think that practicing some measurable reasonableness, that if we do revisit the ordinance, is not, that might be warranted. But I think the idea, maybe a permit for taking down such large trees might be reasonable to do that, because again, yet maybe unskilled people, uninsured people, and now they're putting other people in harm's way with these large limbs. It might be something to look into.
I agree with you. Again, I work 6 days a week. My home projects are usually Sunday, okay? That was, a chainsaw makes a lot more noise than my little circular saw or Sawzall. But I think there's a couple issues. One, to say you can't work on Sunday is denying somebody the right to work, okay? Which I don't think in today's day and age you can do. It used to be with construction trades, as soon as the sun went down, you had to stop. I can remember 30 years ago building my business partner's house, and let me tell you, we pushed the limit, and there's the Sterling Heights police car. It says, you guys will stop. to be stopped, okay? The permit issue, you know, if you're gonna do a permit again, they must be proven they're licensed, insured. But what if somebody starts doing it on a Sunday morning and just chops it down and follows on the other person out? A lot of people don't care, so I feel your pain. I just don't know how far this can go or where it can go based on, you can't tell somebody they can't work on a Sunday.
And I'm not banning
Yeah.
no work on Sunday. I'm just saying, let's have a common sense, 3 or 6 o'clock in the for dinner time, let's cut it off. Let's cut. So we have some peace to enjoy our meal, et cetera, and maybe have some rest to go to work the next day, which is Monday, which is typically for most people. That's what I'm after. I'm not saying ban the entire Sunday. You know, I'm saying it's a reasonable time frame. And that thing that Gus found was an ordinance saying you could cut this tree and make as much sound you want till 9 o'clock on a Sunday. I had to deal with it. But she was communicating 11. So for 2 months I was going through this. I'm just saying, let's shorten the time frame on Sunday, maybe make it 6 o'clock.
You know, the real shame is that neighbors aren't practicing common decency. You know, and unfortunately, we have to come up with an ordinance to get people to be a good neighbor. That's the unfortunate thing, and
Yeah.
it's really a lost art.
So what should our takeaway, or Councilman Ryan?
Okay, so I do have a comment regarding like the whole permitting issues. Are we aware of any other cities that do require permits for cutting down trees? The reason why I say is because I cut down trees in my own backyard. And if it's a 10-foot tree, I'm not gonna have a problem with it. If it's a 20-foot tree, yeah, I'm gonna hire out a company for it. Is it over a certain diameter that you're gonna require a
Chief
permit?
Wilczek is,
Shelby Township, I believe, has an ordinance.
I know Sterling Heights has been trying to get one.
I'm looking
What is
through,
their
and Macomb Township does not require permit.
Shelby Township has some kind of an ordinance on tree cutting. I do know that.
Rochester does have a permit, but the exception is for residential lots under 1 acre, so, you know.
Baltimore also has
Yeah, there was acreage involved in something else, but Shelby does have an ordinance.
Mr. Meyer, I think where we're at is we need to do some more
No,
research.
more research, absolutely. And I'm welcome for, you know, opening up time on a Sunday. I hear you. But not through 9 o'clock, which is now what we have. Just doesn't make sense. And the stretches, they were piecemealing this for 2.5 months for me, because it was cheaper for these kids to come after their moonlighting, basically, and to deal with it. And then they were burning the twigs and leaves, and it got to the point where I said that this is ridiculous, and that's why I made the call to the police to show up there.
And we do have
Oh, the burning.
we do have a burning ordinance.
Yeah.
Oh, they showed up. They had no
Okay.
choice. There was a big white cloud everywhere of smoke.
Yeah, I'm looking at Shelby Township's requirements right now, and I don't think it would apply to the circumstance. It's more about woodland areas, parcels under, over 2 acres.
I'll research myself. I know, we talked about Grosse Pointe Woods or farms. I know Grosse Pointe Park has, you only see commercial-type tree surgeons that are out there. You don't see these kids going and trying to task this huge trees that are out there, especially the one that we had that's no longer there in Utica.
Right. Well, how about this? We stay in communication.
Absolutely.
The city attorney, she'll do some further research.
And I will pass you along my stuff, too.
Excellent.
All right. You guys have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is department reports. I'll kick it off. The big thing, we had our Utica Christmas tree lighting ceremony on Saturday. By everyone I talked to, it was a huge success. There were more people than I've ever seen downtown. Great event. We had Lori Pinson from Fox 2 News as our master of ceremonies. We had Grunwald and Rachel from 99.5 FM, Young Country. They were fantastic. They were just raving about our fire department and the ride they got on one of the fire trucks down to Memorial Park. Lori Pinson did a couple spots on Fox 2 News on Saturday night and Sunday morning. And Rachel and Grunwald were talking about Utica the entire week before the event. And they were, Mr. Hicks I didn't hear it, but Mr. Hicks caught me and he's like, Did you hear they were just giving Utica all
Monday
kinds?
morning, they talked very highly of Utica and how, what a great time they had. Mayor Gus was a real hit.
So these kind of events, not only are they great for our community, great for our residents, our children, but it also, does a lot to improve our image in the region. So, yeah, it was just great. I want to thank our DPW. They went above and beyond. The details they did, Bill, down at Memorial Park, I mean, they had ribbons on every little thing, and they put lights even on the donor banner. They really went above and beyond. The park was gorgeous. Our police, fantastic job keeping us all safe. I gave them all kinds of confusing instructions, and somehow they got it all right. 'Cause I couldn't even remember my instructions after I told Chief. But everything came off without a hitch. And then our fire, I'm gonna let Councilman Ryan give us an update on the Toys for Tots drive. But just the coordination of getting people where they needed to be and making sure everybody was safe. The city, all departments came together perfectly. I know, Lori, our clerk, was here with her entire family helping with the Santa Claus visits. That went for hours, it seemed. But everything was just handled perfectly and everybody came together, so just a huge thank you from me. Anybody else from council? Councilman Ryan?
All right, just updating regarding the Toys for Tots. It was our most successful Toys for Tots drive that we've had so far in the past 4 or 5 years that we've been doing it. We collected over 2,500 toys worth over $35,000. We did raffle baskets, we collected a lot of money from the raffles. We did a battle of the bars between 4 of the main bars here in Utica, and Muldoon's was the winner. We completely stuffed that ambulance.
Yeah.
We literally could not fit a single toy in it.
That's great.
It was completely stuffed to the rim. We did all of our final drop-offs on Mondays. The Marine Corps guys were very thankful of everything that we did. I did want to give a special shout out to our new employees who helped me immensely. I could not have completed this. Both the St. Peters, Radke and her family, and Elder and her family were extremely helpful in making it a successful event.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I would like to add, the bars in downtown Utica, you had a very long list, I don't really have time to go through them all, but that helped with the Toys for Tots. The event basically cost the taxpayers zero. We were able to get sponsors to cover the entire cost. I do want to, on record, mention them, because without them, it wouldn't have been possible. Puff, Cloud, Priority Waste, A-Line Staffing, MIAFS, Mead Lexus, USA Tire, the Sterling Regional Chamber of Commerce, Aleph State Farm, York Dolan Law, and True North Financial Group. They basically paid for the entire event, so big thanks to all our donors.
Yeah. I mean, and then we did receive significant donations from all of our local businesses, about 20-some businesses
Yeah.
that we received in both Utica and Shelby, all donated towards the Toys for Tots program.
So let's get busy and start planning next year, right?
We're gonna have to start earlier, that's for sure.
Councilman Dion?
So first, great work to our mayor and Councilman Ryan on the Toys for Tots and the great show we put on Saturday. I would like to announce we're doing an event at Steampunk Tap Room, January 21st. It's going to be called Have a Beer with Your Mayor. And it is a fundraiser where we're going to be donating money to the Utica Lions. And it's going to be the Mayor Pro Tem, the mayor, myself, and any council members that want to join. And we will be serving delicious, tasty beer behind the bar. And we're going to be accepting donations to hand off to our Utica Lions Club. So I encourage everyone to come down in a responsible manner and leave in a responsible manner. And don't forget, we have these awesome apps called Uber and Lyft. And it'd be great. I suggest you come down and spend some time. The time will be at 6 p.m.
What date was that?
That's January 21st.
I will not be around.
Yeah. January 21st, 6 p.m. Faith, you said you'd come down for some beers?
I will not be around. I'll be on a retreat, sorry.
We'll just cancel that. Come on
Not a
down.
quilting one.
That sounds great. A quilting retreat? A quilting retreat?
No,
No. Okay.
a church retreat.
Good, good.
Okay. I would just like to say Merry Christmas to everyone. And also thank the mayor and thank Tom and thank Mike. It was a wonderful night, and if you didn't come out, I'm sorry for you because the weather was perfect. There was a ton of people there and it was very, very fun. So my hats are off to all of you for all the work you did. And Katie, I'm sorry I forgot to bake for the bake sale. So I apologize, but I'm sure the bake sale was successful because Mike told me there were leftovers, so.
Not as many this year.
Oh, that was my baking, I guess.
I did want to say thank you to the library for the leftovers. We did appreciate that.
And Councilman Dion was out with me all day Saturday from what, was it noon? Running circles around me, getting things ready, and then after the event, after the long day, he helped me break everything down, so thank you, Tom,
Yes, sir.
for all the help.
Yes, sir.
Any other reports from council? I think that's everybody. Ken? Planning, do we have anyone from, Mr. Pion, would you like to give us an update on planning? Yes, sir. It won't be on the, cable if you don't.
Really nothing new. We had a work session with USPBL. We're gonna see what they're gonna come back with now. I don't know. I suggested having another work session with them, which I think maybe it might work. But the 25 minutes that we had, just wasn't enough time. But,
Turned into 50.
Just, I want to say that, having attended that work session today, I thought it was very fruitful. A lot of people said a lot of things, whether it was pro or con. The history of that whole situation was brought up. So I think there's quite a level playing field to start from. At least Utica should get a good product when this is all over and done with. We're not going to accept something that
Right.
we shouldn't. So, but I thought it was fruitful, and I think another work session would be a great idea.
I know because we had a public hearing, and we went beyond that. But I seen everything, everybody, the comments coming in were, really great, so. So I don't know, maybe we could schedule another work session with Dana?
I think that, I also attended the meeting, I believe that's where everything left off, is they want to do that, it sounds like, so.
Yeah.
For sure, let's make that happen.
Yeah, I hated to cut them off, but, we had to cut them off.
I felt it was a very positive meeting. I felt really good about
Yeah,
everything that was said.
there was some good input. Everybody on the council, Dion, everybody, Gus, everybody had input on it. But other than that, that's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you, sir. Assessing, Mr. Russo, anything to report tonight? Building, Mr. Hicks?
The only thing I'd like to say is with winter coming on, with winter coming on, I'd like the residents to know about keeping up their snow, keeping sidewalks clear. Once again, the 99.5 also mentioned highly of the fireworks. They were totally impressed by the fireworks. So other than that, Merry Christmas to all and have a good night.
Thank you, Jerry. Ms. Francis, library.
Yeah, I'm gonna start by saying that, the second year piggybacking off of the Christmas tree lighting for the bake sale was definitely, well worth it. We saw more people in our building than I think we ever have at one time. And, we, again, was most successful that I think we've had in a very, very long time. We've normally had some leftovers, and we like to disperse those to the departments, and sorry, not sorry, there weren't as many this year to give to you guys, but, it benefits us in the long run, so. But yeah, I have also, I know I have an agenda item summary for a storage container that is gonna be placed in our parking lot. for 12 weeks. I know that there needs to be an approval for that temporary structure. I gave you at the last second the little map that I put together to show where we were planning on putting the storage container. Last week, I believe Kevin made a comment about there being a 20-foot clearance for the fire truck in front of the building. So there also needs to be a placement for the dumpster. I just found out today that it's going to be a 30-yard dumpster roll-off that also needs to be placed somewhere in that parking lot.
They're actually sitting right here, so.
Yeah. I made enough for Kevin and Bill and that table to have them as well, so. Just want to make sure we put them exactly where.
Chief Vilsack, do you see any concerns with that?
No.
Chief Cody?
Not at all.
No?
Where were you thinking about the dumpster?
That is the question. There was an idea at one time to put it just right in front of, or I guess just south of the storage container. I don't know. To be fair, I have no idea how they pick it up, deliver it. I don't know how much room they need to do that.
If they're gonna go in front of the storage container, they probably won't fit because they have a big tractor trailer that they roll it on and dump it off.
Okay.
You could go next to the storage,
Mm-hmm.
or you could go anywhere in the parking lot, you know, that butts up to the sidewalk there of the building. I think the best spot for it would be actually parallel with the storage unit. Yeah,
Right.
Straight back about where the red line is,
right.
distance between the building and the storage container.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that works. Yep, something like that. No concerns. If it's not in the right place, we'll put it there.
Bring the front loader?
We are friends with tow trucks.
We'll get along, that's all. Fire department wants it somewhere else, other than where the driver put it, we'll help them out. We can do it.
Well, we'd be looking for a motion then to.
I'll make a motion to approve the placement of the storage unit and the dumpster.
Motion by Sikora, support by Dion. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell? Deanne?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Calendino?
Yes, motion carries. You're all set.
Yep. The only thing that else I just included in case you guys wanted to know was just the timeline of what they're doing. So, I just thought.
And that, I think, is stapled on here,
attached.
right? Yep,
Yeah.
perfect.
What are they doing in the library? I haven't seen any, are they doing anything structural?
No.
Okay.
No. It's
So I,
just,
cause I haven't seen any.
yeah, it's all
bricks or
cosmetic.
anything like that come through, so,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
All right, if that's all, Chief Vilsack, fire report?
Yeah, the only thing I have to report, Merry Christmas to everybody, but we received a bunch of, like I mentioned in the last meeting, the smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector combination, and we're going to give those out for free to residents, one per household, until we run out of them. So you have to show your ID that you're a Utica resident, and we'll put you down on the list. So
Okay.
probably between the hours of, let's say, 10 and 1, hopefully we have you come by and pick one up
So they should show up at the.
at the fire station, front door.
Monday through Thursday?
Yeah, Monday through Thursday.
We'll get that word out.
Okay. And thank you to Home Depot for donating all those to us.
Chief Cody?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I would like to wish everybody a happy holiday season. We're coming across Christmas and New Year's, busy times of the year. I'd like to remind some of our residents, if they're going to be traveling for that period of time, don't hesitate to contact the police department. If they'd like extra checks of their property, they can contact Sergeant Ertl, and we can make sure and put them on a list where we'll do an extra check of their property while they're gone. They'll just give us some contact information. It's just a very simple process if they have any concerns at all. Want everybody to kind of take their time as the weather becomes more wintry. Make sure as we're pulling out that we're giving ourselves extra space and try to be patient with some of the shopping and traffic that we're going to see around our retail outlets. So other than that, we wish everybody a safe holiday season.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Lang, DPW report.
And leave cookies on the front porch. No. Anyway, goes along. It's on. Yeah, it's this little green light right here. Thank you. Just a couple updates. First, I'd like to do a little shout out to the tree farm that we got the tree from. I was supposed to give the information to the mayor and neglected to do so. In the last few years, we've managed to purchase the tree from a gentleman tree farmer, Sherpa Tree Farms in Metamora. This year, we learned that Dick DeBolt, the owner of Sherpa Farms, had passed away, and he'd been fighting dementia for quite a while. And we used to look forward to going and seeing him, and he would, of course, we could be there 15 minutes, and he never remembered we were there, but just a heck of a guy. And there's a little joke to that. But anyway, I did mention to his wife, she was kind enough to let us come to the farm anyway and let us go out and make our selection and go through the process that we had always done and trusted us to handle ourselves and get the tree appropriately. And we did. So I just want to say thank you to the family of Dick Bolt from Sherpa Farms, because we got a really excellent tree this year, and just happy for that. And I'll miss him. He's really a super guy. So thank you for that. Secondly, we have hired a new employee at the Public Works Department. His name is Devin Orcheski. He's currently with us on a seasonal basis. We're checking him out, see how he fits, how he works out. But so far, very good reports from all the employees. We're very happy to have him. He's young. I'd say he's well-fed, but he's probably like 110 pounds soaking wet, even though he's about, 5'8", 5'9". So if you see him and you don't, it's probably because he's standing sideways. But he's 24, so I expect at some point the joke is that we all started that way, and these are the coveralls you're going to grow into. But we're very happy to have them. It's a tough world to find employees and good ones. Devin actually lives very close by. His backyard backs up to the VFW hall. American Legion, I'm sorry. So he's a pretty local guy, kind of knows us. And we're hoping he works out for us, and hopefully we can make a recommendation coming up to hire him full-time for us. So he's working out well. If you see him riding around with the guys, we're grooming him to be one of us. So we're happy to have him, and we appreciate the support with that. So other than that,
Well, that was a
I
long
have a
time
question.
coming.
yes.
If you drive down Klinkhammer by my house, you will see, I want to say hundreds, it's an exaggerate, of the little orange things that people put all over their, is there a limit to how many you can have? And I know it's in city property, but they want the DPW not to touch
Yeah.
their grass. And it just is so excessive. I mean,
Yeah, those are like, we put them out on Cass. You may notice some along Cass. We put them to identify the bump outs for us. They're the little fiberglass
those
markers.
fiberglass orange things with
We-
reflector tape.
Technically, by ordinance, from what I recall, I'm gonna say from what I recall, be safe on that one. You can't place anything in the right of way, rocks, sprinkler systems,
nothing aside from your driveway entrance and a mailbox. So is there a limit? No, and yes. So one would think, if it's excessive, I mean, if you'd like, I haven't been there, so,
Yeah, just-
if it's intrusive looking,
Next time you're driving around, and again, honestly, they could put one at one end and the other, and you guys are gonna know where the road is, okay? I've been here, 34 years in town, and my lawn hasn't been turned up. You
no,
know,
so
they-
one of the problems that we face with that, and I'll address that, because it's happened. And I'm going in the Wayback Machine, but we used to have winters that were significant. Someday we're gonna have others. Buffaloes got nailed this year. I remember plowing Ryan Road when literally you could barely tell that there was a mailbox out there. That's how deep the snow was. So we do this thing, once the snow gets deep on these side streets, because the road starts to narrow, and now it gets dangerous. It gets dangerous for the fire department to get a wide piece of equipment through to pass another vehicle. So we come into a situation where it's dangerous to the community. So what do? I order the crews to push the snow back. We come on the city right of way 2 and 3 feet sometimes and roll the snow back. So when those markers I get it, it's a double-edged sword. When we do that, if you had boulders out there, or you had sprinklers out there, or you had other sod, we do some damage, but there's a reason that we do that. We appreciate the fact that they mark the street for us. We have mailboxes to line up with. The excessiveness of it.
And my street has no sidewalks, no mailboxes, mailboxes.
Yeah, okay.
But again, I've never, ever, in the worst storm, I ever had 6 inches
We
maybe.
typically don't, yeah. If we get a bad winter, we'll come off, but then whoever the markers are, they'll be gone. 'Cause we
I
will
just
not
didn't know
get
if
out
there was a
there.
rule because it's city property.
Yeah, so technically, I think by the ordinance, you're not supposed to place anything out there. So we could, I'll take a look.
Just,
If
it's the excessive.
If it's excessive, I'll take a look and
You don't have to just, I can talk
sometimes
to my-
just being polite, it's like, hey, we have this in place and we don't typically, I'm a big enough boy, I don't name people by name. And it doesn't matter, I get it, but.
it was a question. When you drive down my, you
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. Anything else?
No, happy holidays, be safe. Mother Nature's gonna visit us
Very soon.
someday. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No treasurer report tonight. Administration, Madam Clerk.
I would like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to council, and thank you for a great year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Clerk.
And no Parks and Rec Commission or Historic District Commission report tonight. City Attorney, anything to
Nothing
tell
tonight.
us? Nothing tonight.
But be prepared for next month.
Next month, I think we're gonna be busy. At this point, we open the floor for communication from the public for anything not on the agenda. Is there anyone that would speak about anything not on the agenda tonight?
It's just you, Paul. You're the only one that's not on the commission or employee.
Or something?
The only thing I have to say is, I'm guilty of putting those orange sticks up.
How many do you put up?
I have 5, and after your thought, I can remove 2 of them.
Thank you.
One at one corner, and one in the middle. Only because the lawn got dug up, sprinklers, one year. And it's, I don't blame the person that was plowing the street. I mean, it's not his fault. He did the best he could. But I thought I'd put the markers up, so.
Just a couple.
Are you his neighbor?
No.
If anyone wants to donate any,
No sidewalks and no, same thing,
if anybody wants to donate any, I'm gonna be placing some on clean camera on a property real soon, at night.
I'll donate too.
Thanks.
All right, I would just like to tell everybody Merry Christmas, and actually Happy New Year, because we won't have another meeting until after the new year. It's been a great year, we've gotten a lot done, thank you to the department heads, to all the city employees, all the residents that give us feedback to make the city better, much appreciated, and I look forward to 2023 and getting back to it, so, if anyone else? Does anyone else have?
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Mayor, sir, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Deanne,
Support.
support by Sikora, any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, a roll call vote, please.
Sikora?
Yes.
Torenzi?
Yes.
O'Donnell? Ryan?
Yes.
Deanne? Mayor Calendino?
Yes, we are adjourned, motion carries.
Lawyer Clerk, the city cook, you are funny.
My one neighbor in a little lot has 20.
Well, you're only public. Guess this is a meeting.
One year.